Hey, welcome to the Tim and Gugabe podcast. This is your host, Tim Gugabe. How are you doing?
Yeah, not too bad. We've been sent back into stage 4 lockdown, which is great. Yeah, business as usual otherwise. How's life in Chicago or St. Louis at the moment?
I'm in Chicago. It's not too bad. So you guys are just locked down again?
Yeah, it's a thing. Like we're like hardcore lockdown this time. You know, only allowed to leave the house for an hour a day.
Yeah. I like even though I almost killed myself benching the other day, I like invested in just kind of like some home gym equipment just because I feel like we're gonna pretty much be at home a lot until there's a vaccine, right?
Yeah, I'd imagine. I just had a new PC arrive the other day, which is nice. Honestly,
Okay.
with workout equipment, everything costs so much that like the secondhand markets are going nuts
Yeah, I
over
just
here
got a
at least.
row machine, like one of those really nice row machines. So I'm like, nah, I just figured Chicago, so it's hard to cardio. So I don't know, I figure I'll be locked in a lot, but whatever. I don't know. Let's talk about shit that actually matters. Gutierrez Durden. We can recap that.
Um, I was on Durden just a small bit as a sort of a punt. Honestly, even as somebody on Durden, I think I got like plus 300-ish. I can't remember exactly what I got. Um, I I felt Gutierrez like he was minute dominant. I was kind of surprised that was a 10-8 in round one. Like I understand Gutierrez didn't get much done, but also Durden never really came close to finishing or really had him in that much trouble. Um, I think the price is honestly about right in hindsight. Like even Durden, like he can probably keep it if he gets a body triangle, but like it wasn't
Yeah,
like he had a clear wrestling game plan. It was just like, oh, I got a body triangle, I can keep it. Yeah, price is about right. Like I made a bit of money. I made a bit of profit off Durden because I got dead heat on the draw, but whatever, pretty much.
yeah. It's weird because like I had no action on it, but I kind of have your same opinion. Where usually when a fight like that is that close, you assume the huge underdog is value. But I kind of had your opinion where I just thought Durden really just had a body triangle. And other than that, and so he won minutes because of the body triangle in round one. But other than that, he kind of got dominated, I feel. Um, so I mean, I guess just how many times does he get a body triangle type of thing? Um, but yeah, that's kind of the
Right.
way I saw it. Gutierrez is kind of like there's been hints of him allowing a lot of advances and kind of being shit on the mat. Because like like I know Barcelos is good on the map, but he made that look so easy against Gutierrez. Where I feel like I don't know, just an okay grappler is going to probably beat him up. You know?
Yeah, possibly. I do like how Gutierrez seems to be getting more aggressive on the feet as well. He just seems to have a
Agreed.
bit
Yeah.
more tempo. Like, yeah, I like Gutierrez as a low mid level bantamweight. Like, he's a solid guy, and the
Oh,
calf
for
kick
sure.
thing's
Like
always
he's
going
got
to be pretty
process
interesting.
too. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
What was I thinking? Yeah,
I
the
like
ten
depth
eight
of
here
his
was.
game. I'm just saying, like, he's not going to go very far if he has that type of ground game. You know, at bantamweight.
Yeah, and also the 10-8 hitting getting on to concern me a little bit because I was like, I can understand the argument for 10-8, but I'd usually expect like near finishes or real dominance for 10-8. So I feel like if you give
Yeah.
Durden the 10-8 for that, you open yourself up to a lot of weird 10-8s.
Yeah, but there's no consistency in judging, so it's just a shit show,
Yeah.
you know?
And
Um,
also remind me a bit of like you see the Tuesday night contender fight yesterday, Rodriguez Rivera. How like Rivera just randomly got a body triangle for 2 minutes off like a slip, and probably won the fight off that.
yeah, that was a weird fight. Like I saw a lot of people like saying Rodriguez won, and it's not that I didn't think Rodriguez won. I just thought I wasn't tweeting much during that show, but I just thought it was like kind of a split decision-y type of fight, you know? I probably would have sided Rodriguez, but I didn't think it was a robbery either, you know?
I wasn't watching it with like deep passion or intensity, but
True.
like just from what I
Yeah.
was watching, it just looked like a 29-28 Rodriguez to me. Like I was
Yeah.
pretty surprised when Rivera won the decision. Like I'm not saying I was poring over every detail, but just like it just looked like a 29-28 Rodriguez to me.
Yeah, no, I think I leaned him. I still thought just like a couple of the rounds were kinda it was weird just because it was kind of volume striking versus some hard punches and a takedown type of thing, you know? Because I just feel like it's kind of what you value more. But
Yeah, sure.
I mean, I didn't have like strong opinions about it. Like, I still thought Rodriguez won. But I still thought it was going to be a split decision going into the cards, you know. But I guess it was unanimous the other way. The 30-27s were definitely weird though. But on Emmers Cachero, Emmers just kind of was a lot better. Manus Munoz, that was kind of a weird fight. Munoz almost finished him round 1, and then he kind of slowed down. Yeah.
I was actually surprised that Munoz didn't get any 10-8s for round 1, considering Durden got 10-8 for round 1 early in the evening.
Well, his round 1 was way more dominant than Durden's too, I thought.
Yeah, it was. He was beating the fuck out of him. Also, just randomly running back.
Yeah.
Yeah, like if he got him down like 20 seconds earlier, I'm pretty sure he finishes there.
Yeah.
I don't really have any. I think I had a little bit of under just as a sort of binary thing, yeah, whatever. Also thinking about Jamal Emmers. Honestly, I think Emmers is pretty solid. Like I actually felt pretty bad that Valiev pulled out because I think that Emmers we saw was going to definitely be value at plus 150.
Yeah, I thought Emmers is good for a while now. He's solid. He's a good grappler, and he's a pretty good striker too, even though he doesn't really come from that background. I mean, he competed on the feet with Qaisi.
Yeah, I think he's like a fringe top 20 featherweight. Like, yeah, I don't think he necessarily ever puts it together to go for a real run because he really lacks an A game. But I think he's still a perfectly functional fighter. Like he'll give close and tough fights to a bunch of people.
Oh,
like
for sure.
Emmers and Mirkani or something next. I'd be fine watching like Emmers and Mirkani or something next.
I know they're different weight classes, but even if you reran him and Sandhagen, I feel like he could probably still beat Sandhagen, right? I mean, I'm not saying he wins for sure or anything, but that'd be a close fight still, you know?
Yeah, Sandhagen's weird because it's like there's some areas where he's very good and there's some areas where he's still kind of shit.
Yeah, it's interesting for sure.
I'm not going to say Sandhagen got lucky on his run up bantamweight, but they also kind of felt like he kind of had a bunch of favourable matchups and fights in sort of favourable circumstances.
Yeah, and it was like a decision went his way against Lineker. Close fight, could have went either way. And I feel
Alcantara could have taken his arm.
Yeah, and I feel like he also had like some easy matchups where like volume and just like his length helped a lot in certain matchups. And yeah, like I was on Sterling pretty big over him. I was just like, dude, I don't know. I just feel like Sterling has really improved, and I just thought Sandhagen was kind of like a shiny new toy type of thing. Going on. Like I still like Sandhagen. I played him over his son Sal, but it was just a weird line. But I don't know.
Yeah.
Sainz and Martinez. Sainz is old as fuck and really aged.
Yeah, pretty much. I had some not Martinez decision. I essentially just had Sainz plus 220 and Martinez KO at plus like 220 because like I just didn't think Martinez. I think if Sainz was healthy and like functional, I felt like he would be like a minute winner. If Sainz was old and decrepit, I thought he'd be KO'd. I was sweating it a little bit, but yeah, Martinez eventually got the KO.
Yeah.
Like I was expecting that to be one of those classic like 5 knockdown overs.
Yeah.
But Martinez looked okay. Actually, a probably solid result in terms of like make him easier to fight in the future. Sainz retire, please. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think he's fine. I feel like he's kind of whatever. Green and Venata. I feel like Green. He kind of reminds me of Masvidal, where I feel like he's like capable of beating the fuck out of really good fighters, but it's like he can lose to anyone by just not doing anything. But no one's ever going to dominate him. But this was probably his best performance, I'd say, for a very long time, right?
Yeah, great. Yeah, Green. Yeah, he doesn't really put a stamp on anything. He doesn't. He tends to just kind of. He's good enough everywhere. He never really forces a fight to go to where he's best. Or like, I think mindset wise, some people who are an A everywhere will just go, all right, I'm going to figure out where my opponent is D minus. I'm going to bring the game there. Other people with an A everywhere will just fight wherever the opponent wants them to fight. So it just ends up being their sort of strong point mashed up against the opponent's strong point.
Yeah, and it just becomes like a split decision. But it's hilarious because I just feel like because there's a lot like Masvidal lost split decisions to people that were like it was like nothing even happened. It was just they kind of like nullified each other, and Masvidal would just kind of like Iaquinta kind of that's one that comes to mind where I feel like Masvidal was like winning, but he just wouldn't put a stamp on anything, and he kind of just fought Al's fight. And the Green just does that shit. But I feel like Masvidal and Green are capable of fucking these dudes up if they like actually do shit, you know?
Well, take initiative, and also just being like, if they come in with the mindset of I'm going to ram my best qualities into their worst qualities,
Yeah,
they would win. Like a guy like Bilal Muhammad isn't as good as like Green or Masvidal, but because Muhammad has an actual game plan, and Muhammad actually sits down and thinks, "Where is my opponent bad?"
yeah, yeah.
Like
No,
it's sad but true. There's a bunch of them, even like Holland or something.
yeah, um, yeah. We're like this time. I don't know. Green looked good. I like Green. I played him. I played him in like a two-legger against Guida, and I was like, God damn it, you know. I was like, fuck, because I don't know. I was kind of getting drawn into. He still kind of won that fight fine, but I feel like it was too closer than it should have been. Where this one, I don't know. I feel like he just actually took the fight to Venata, and Venata wasn't as aggressive as he usually is either. So it was kind of surprising. Green like really took it to him.
Yeah, I'm still annoyed at Green for losing that fucking close decision. I was really big on Green against close, and then like that, I don't understand how close won that fight.
That was a bad decision, I thought.
Yeah,
Green
Green was like plus 200. Green was like, I think Green like closed like literally plus 200 or something like that from memory. It was just
It's
annoying.
funny if they fought now, would Green be favored? It would be like it'd be
Minus
close.
150. Yeah, I'd say minus 150. Actually,
I don't know what the market would do, but I would favor Green in that matchup, like barely. It's close, but
yeah. Also, like Green had a really big cardio dump in that fight, which he hasn't really shown in other fights, which was I don't know. Again, just variance, I guess.
yeah. Luke Brown, I didn't play it. I had a lean. I thought Brown was gonna. I thought he was alive for the upset, but Luke, I think I knew the calf kicks could have been an issue, but I Luke did a really good job at pressuring, but I thought Brown would maybe clinch up more or pressure himself and not just fight at Luke's range the whole time. But I think maybe I was underestimating a little bit of just Luke's ability to kind of push a pace where Brown might wilt to pressure a little bit. But it was still, I do think the fight was a little closer than people realize, but Luke still did a good job, and like he justified his line. I thought, at least in that simulation of the performance. Yeah,
My view was that like Brown plus 150, Brown like plus 150, plus 200 is probably about accurate. Like even the fight we got, it was
Luke
essentially
justified. Yeah,
it essentially was like even volume. Brown had a bunch of success when he actually felt like coming forwards. Leg kicks were there, but also Luke, you've always running the risk of Luke of this just being the fight where he no longer can take a shot or anything like that. There's a bunch of matchups where people are. It's like Pantoja versus Schnell. I felt like watching that. I was going, Pantoja's almost done, and people were like, "Nah, Schnell sucks. Tiers above, it was okay." Like Pantoja got a bit rocks, but because he's Pantoja and Schnell is Schnell, it doesn't matter. But then, like, you see your next fight, and you go, "Well, I think some of these guys they get." You're always running the risk of you playing a Pantoja or a Luke, this being the fight where they just stop functioning.
it's just
So trying to hindsight price this whole thing is difficult.
Yeah, it's just because like I mean he in this version of the fight he definitely looked like he justified his line for sure, But it's just one of those things where and I didn't play the fight. It's just I feel like Luke he's one of those guys where I would never want to play him at minus 200 or over just because he absorbs so much punishment, and it's just shit can happen. It just can't. Like either guy could have landed a KO, I feel. But at the same time, I also feel like Luque should never be bigger than like a plus 200 underdog against anyone either. Just because he's live to fuck you up too, just to like land something big, right? And he just is very come forward. So he's kind of like weird because I would never make him a big favorite, but I would never make him a big underdog either,
Yeah, he's not so kind of for Paul Felder space.
For like different reasons. Yeah.
I think similar. Like, I mean, obviously Felder's not quite as powerful as Luque. But
Luque
it's just like
where Felder just like I know what you're saying, but I feel like Felder's kind of low volume and his opponents become kind of low volume too, where like Luque just forces a firefight, I feel.
they're both good at just kind of creating these wars, I guess.
Yeah.
Like,
and there's like all striking parity too.
Like Luque plus get above plus 150 against anybody is probably playable. Luque past minus 150 against anybody is probably unplayable, just because A, he's going to take punishment, and B, like eventually the wheel's going to like every fight with Luque. I feel like you're taking that 10% or whatever risk of this just being the fight where Luque can't take a punch.
True. Yeah.
Like you might say hindsight, like it wasn't that fight, but till they enter the cage, you don't know if this is that fight, and you do have to quantify that kind of risk.
I would say just like in this, like it will go away at some point, but it's pretty insane. Like this 2015 to 2020, he has had 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. He's had 15 UFC fights. And he's absorbed so many strikes, and it's kind of crazy he's never been finished, because he's been in some wars, and he's even been like beat up badly in fights too. Like
I think Wonderboy
really fucked him up.
Wonderboy could have gotten him out of there if he really wanted to.
Yeah,
I felt like Wonderboy if that last 5 minutes. Like I had a bet on like Wonderboy ITD at plus 700. I remember being screaming at Wonderboy to finish the fucking fight.
Yeah.
He got dropped like twice hard in round 3 against Wonderboy, didn't he? From memory, I just remember Wonderboy just seemed reluctant to follow up with ground and pound because I guess Wonderboy just doesn't like grappling. I guess
knockdown in the round 3. I don't know if there's. I forget how many. I remember he knocked him down. I don't know if there's 2 or not, but
round 3 was ugly. I remember that much.
Yeah,
it was just Luque just kind of getting teed off on, and like Wonderboy was whenever he came at Wonderboy would tee off, but like he wasn't really cruising for the finish. He wasn't really forcing the finish. I don't know. Like, yeah, it was 55 to 14 significant strikes, 1 knockdown. I think there was like at least 1 other spot where he was like at least badly rattled or whatever. My view on Luque is like he's fun, play him as a dog, but like there's just so much associated risk of what he does. You can't really play him as a favorite.
Gugabe.
Hello?
Oh, sorry, you cut out for a second.
Yeah, my view on Luque is just like, play him as a dog. I just don't really think there's ever much of a case of playing him past minus 150 unless he's going to like sub UFC level competition. Or it's like Mickey Gall or something.
Yeah, the like the middle class welterweight, like all these like the tier I'm talking about. It's like it's scary playing him at that price for sure.
Yeah.
But I like him though. Like he's fun as fuck as far as like entertainment goes. They really could put him in some really fun fights in kind of the top 10. Like him and Jeff Neal would be fun.
Oh, yeah, like you make a fight as much, but like even like Felder, Luque, like there's a bunch of fights you could have, which would be great. Like even like random light, if you just gave him like a main event spot every so often, just like his next exhibition, fun fighter is fine. He just takes too much risk to really get to that top to get to the absolute sort of championship level, in my opinion.
Yeah, he's fun though. Maya Calderwood. I mean, I feel like we've kind of finally been getting those healthy dosage of guard subs for women MMA recently. I feel like there's been quite a few lately.
I played GTD at minus 300. Because like the way the market was priced, the market opened with Calderwood KO at plus 500, and all the GTDs were like based on that assumption. The Calderwood KO was live, so I was like,
Well, yeah,
I don't
that's
think
not live.
Calderwood KO is live. Therefore, I think the GTD should be minus 600 because the only way this is finishing is if it's some fucking stupid guard sub.
That didn't fucking happen. That's like, it's like when you think you finally found that minus 300 goes the distance, that's a lock. A guard sub occurs.
Pretty much. Like, yeah, I still stand by my logic.
I hear it. It just is what it
And
is.
like, she had multiple spots where she could have left her guard. Like, Maya had a reasonable omoplata attempt, lost it, then Calderwood just hangs out there for another 30 seconds with her arms stretched out. I'm like,
yeah, I was watching. I was like, what the fuck is she doing? Yeah, like I passed on this card as a whole, so I was just kind of watching these fights, just looking for like live lines and stuff. But so I didn't suffer from any of this shit. But yeah, that was like fucking crazy.
yeah, oh well, it happens. Like,
I feel like there's just a lot of like random shit occurring in this card. It was hilarious.
I should have just played not Calderwood KO at like minus 800.
Yeah. No, but
like,
then Maya would like tear her ACL in the first round. Then you'd get fucked.
Maya would have a deep armbar and Calderwood would rampage Arona slam her.
Yeah, I'm sure she's capable. The Andrade Rose.
God, slam
All right.
KOs.
Moving on. The Brunson Edmen. Yeah, I've been skeptical about Edmen for a really long time. And I'm not hating on the guy. I still think he's got some skills. I think he's an interesting prospect. I just I felt like this was a dogger pass situation. I didn't touch it, and it's just I think this just kind of confirms that first round KOs and first round finishes get overrated.
Yeah, pretty much. And Brunson just has all these random narratives like he fades under pressure, that kind of shit.
Yeah, it's like, but he's actually pretty good. It's funny because if you look, I mean, his just like overall UFC record is very good. He's had like 5 losses and it's been pretty much to all like the best. Whitaker, Izzy,
Jacare.
and yeah, Jacare was just kind of like a KO, and then he probably should have beat Anderson. Like, I mean, he won the fight.
That decision was horrendous.
That was a horrible decision. But yeah, and it's like, okay, like he lost those fights, but other than that, he kind of just beats up everyone. You know, I don't know. But the way I just saw it was, I was just skeptical because Edmen has 3 first round finishes, and I was like, okay, Travis Brown elbows are kind of meme. The finish on Marshman is like inapplicable here. He's not going to out wrestle Brunson. And then I thought the only one that was like an impressive finish, but I kind of more chalked it up to random, was Tavares, where everyone else kind of thought that was his coming out party. But I was like, it was tied 3-3 on distance strikes until he hurt Tavares. You know, like nothing had happened. And so I really thought the best sample size we had of him in a fight was against Darren Stewart. I was like, I just don't trust him to get a first round KO. And then I think he's probably gonna. It seems like he wants to wrestle a little bit, and that path to victory is gone against Brunson. So what's he really gonna do? You know, like I don't know. And it kind of played out, but he still landed some good shots. So Shabazian, like I feel like if he just kind of improves his cardio, he could be a decent. He could be interesting.
Yeah, like I've always been kind of skeptical over Edmen. I mean, he's fine, but like my view of this was like Brunson is a pretty solid 8.5 out of 10. Edmen has maybe proven being a 6.5 out of 10 with like a huge possible range.
Yeah.
So why is Brian like? Yeah, if Edmen turned out to be the fucking divisional goat and like this true like transcendent talent, minus 300 was probably going to be about accurate.
Yeah.
If literally anything else happened, Brunson was going to be value.
Yeah. Yeah.
So like I was just looking and going, I might as well chuck. I was originally like a unit and a half like tip, and I just started chucking more on because I was pissed off about my Cowdwood.
It's like the low end of your deviation was like you were just getting no value. Like it was just like flipping a coin, right?
Pretty much. Like, how much worse could Brunson be than 20%?
Yeah.
Since Brunson does hit very hard.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
even if like Edmen just came out and went nuts, I just feel like Brunson was always going to be 20% in the swing to death match because Brunson
I
has a lot of
thought it was
power.
so strange because even like there were some people who I respect who were skeptical about Edmen, right? Just like you and I always have been. Like every time one of his fight, and the funny thing is, I've only bet one of his fights, and it was against Burt, and I won money. So like it's not like I've been playing against him and getting like beaten. So it's not like I'm like bitter or anything. It's just he had so many first round KOs, and so I just didn't really know what his skill set was. And we saw the Stewart fight, and I was like, okay, I think I kind of know what he is. I feel like he is pretty kind of, I don't know. I feel like if he doesn't bully you out of there, he kind of panic wrestles. But like, and he's a good wrestler, but I just don't think that game is going to beat a lot of the elite fighters. And then I feel like a lot of people had the same opinion of we don't really know what he is. There's too many question marks. And then he knocked out Tavares, and people I respect like turned and were like, "Oh, he's legit now." And I was like, "What?" It was like 3-3 in distance strikes, and nothing happened. He just landed a big shot. That's all I saw, and I was like, I'm even more um unsure of what is going on with him. And I just didn't trust him to be able to strike composed for 15 minutes either. It looks like he's kind of he loses a lot of his like defense and just his composure after a few minutes because his cardio goes too.
Yeah. Also, like Tavares Edmen was like 3 minutes of jabs and it was 2 minutes of jabs and leg
Yeah,
kicks.
that's all it was. Yeah.
And even in hindsight, I kind of think after seeing this fight that Tavares probably wins that fight at least at evens if it goes 15 minutes.
Yeah. Agreed.
Like, if Tavares just exists at him 15 minutes, I think that's enough to win the decision pretty frequently. Like, I was actually bigger on Tavares against him than I was on Brunson.
Yeah.
And, like, I just saw that as being a whatever result because, like, it kind of was. But, I think in hindsight...
Oh, yeah, go on.
Yeah, I think in hindsight, like, it just, KOs happen. People don't seem to understand that. Like, there's a lot of striking hype which gets put up around people with KO ones. It's just like KOs and competitive round ones just happen and relax.
Yeah, no, for sure. Because I remember when that happened, I made a comment about how I still wasn't sold, and like I know my strengths of like analyzing things is kind of more falls in line with grappling. Like I know I'm not a striking guy, but I was like when I said that, someone was like, "Oh yeah, but you just don't understand striking," and I was like, "There's nothing to understand. Like it's just kind of common sense, It's just knockouts can happen." Um, and there was only like 15 total strikes landed in those couple minutes. I was like, we just haven't seen enough type of thing. It's more of it's not even like a technique type of thing. It's a sample size type of thing, you know? Um,
And most of those strikes were landed on like an already hurt Tavares.
exactly. Yeah, yeah. No, that's what it was because it was 3-3 on distance strikes until the
Knockdown / rocking, whatever you want to call it.
yeah, it was like the knockdown, and then there were 12 strikes after that, and like one of them was the head kick, and all that. Like, so it was all once he was hurt. So that's kind of like I liked the follow up, but the follow up's the follow up. That's not what kind of um got him to that point, Like the follow up was just because of something random happening. So that's just the way I saw it. I like even with grappling, sometimes you just need a higher sample size to see things. Like there could just be kind of a weird position that occurs, and you still need to see things play out more.
Yeah,
So.
there'll just be some fighters, even in grappling, there'll be some fighters who are very good with dominant position, but actually consistently getting there, they have like no ability.
Are you talking
Like,
about Aspen Ladd?
No, Ladders won. But honestly, Aspen Ladders won. But I was actually thinking like Brandon Moreno.
No, I hear you.
Like, yeah, just like people like see these subs and go, oh, even like fucking Carl Roberson. There were some weird takes about Roberson being a good submission artist because he had like 3 subs and they were all like club subs.
Yeah.
He subbed Stewart, he subbed that Russian dude like Kopylov, and he subbed somebody else, didn't he? But like the people like just acting like that somehow proved that he was a decent submission guy. It's like, no, it doesn't.
And kind of just to use Edmen like as an example of just the phenomenon I'm talking about, I remember like I played Mackenzie Dern against Amanda Ribas, like just because I feel like I'm kind of I feel like we're just saying I told you so, but the thing is I didn't even play like Brunson tracked or anything. But just to like kind of like the reverse of it was I played Dern over Ribas because the way I saw it was Dern has actually shown striking volume and she's a legitimately world class grappler. And I was just like, Ribas has had like a minute in the UFC against Emily Whitmire, and Dern's only like minus 150. I was like, I just don't. I feel I feel like I'll kind of fade her skill set, right? Like a debutante Ribas who's mostly a jiu-jitsu girl, you know? And then after her fight, like I jumped on the train. I was like, I feel like I'd seen enough against Dern to where I kind of saw her entire game play out, and we've kind of seen more of it to where like we actually saw her fight for like 15 minutes in various positions, you know, and that's something we didn't see with Edmen. So like I was skeptical of Ribas, but she changed my mind. Where Edmen never did because he just didn't have fights play out, right?
Yeah, honestly, Edmen kind of like my view, like my sort of average expectation for Edmen was like say a bit better than the Edmen we actually saw. Like my view was just like steering into chaos. Like I just couldn't see how I could be incorrect value wise, but I wasn't like Edmen sucks because if I saw that outcome, I would have gone like 20 units on Brunson. Like
Yeah.
I'm not
So
going to pretend I'm not going to pretend I call Edmen looking like that because if anything, Edmen actually disappointed me a bit.
yeah, like honestly, and I'm like not trying to be arrogant because I literally didn't play because I don't play hunches, right? But my hunch was that's what he was. It honestly was. We kind of saw it in Stewart, you know, in the Stewart fight, but that was kind of my hunch. But like, I don't like to play hunches, you know. I'd rather just have like a lot of data, me seeing a lot of positions play out to where I can kind of it just makes it easier to know if the line's actually off to where I don't like to play a hunch. But that was just kind of my gut feeling that we were going to get something like that. I don't like to play gut feelings. I know other people do, but I don't want my kind of maybe sometimes biased opinions like going into things, you know, for betting. So I don't know.
Yeah, makes
But
sense.
I don't hate the guy though. Like I hope he improves. I think if he improves his cardio, he could win some a decent amount of fights. But
I'm
okay,
just
we can stop talking about this now.
I'm just not sure how. Just looking at the middleweight rankings, I don't think there's that many winnable fights for him over 15 minutes. But again, he'll probably be. I'm sure he'll come together over the next couple of years, kind of thing. But I think he could have Hernandez himself a bit here.
See, I really think kids this young who because I mean, dude, he's fighting the Derek Brunsons of the world, so like he's gonna get put in some tough fights, right? I really think at this point he should like if I was managing him, I wouldn't fight like a skilled, really good UFC fighter for another few years. You know, like I almost think he should like go to Bellator or and then come back later because you want his physical condition and just like his overall physical health to be there when he hits his athletic prime, you know? Like you don't want him to be 28 and him have been in a bunch of wars and been beaten up because then I feel like we'll get the best Edmen, you know, if he is still kind of intact and his skills have evolved as well. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's the way I see it.
Unfortunately, he's going to fight the loser of Akhmedov versus Weidman. Randomly go on like a 0-3 run and get cut and sent to and just have no chin. That's just how these things work out.
Yeah, we'll see. But
Yep.
Well,
What's
okay,
next
we'll move
week?
to the next card. I feel like we've been talking about this card way too much, but we'll move on to the next card. I haven't taped this one. Is this Ali Al Qaisi? How the fuck do you say that?
Qaisi? I know. Fuck if I know.
We'll call him Ali versus Erwin Rivera. I remember Rivera recently didn't he fight Chikazi?
Yeah, Chikadze kind of dug it on him. Credit for his toughness. He was actually kind of chinny regionally. And he just randomly took a lot of punishment against Chikadze, which I don't know. Sometimes people do that.
I feel like that's a thing with debutants. They all just have incredible chins.
It's weird. I just feel like these short notice like dog debutants always seem to just be able to take punishment. Like you've got tape of them just getting killed by an arm punch against a 0-2 person, and then they just take like 8 head kicks.
Yeah, then they fight like a top 15 like striking based fighter UFC. They get outstrike 90-12 and they just like eat head kicks. But what's this other guy? Like what's he do? I take this fight.
He's a brave CF guy. He goes for he grapples. He's an aggressive grappler. He's not particularly positionally coherent. He'll go for guillotines and stuff. Strength of schedule is about equal, in my opinion. Honestly, I'm playing Qaisi small just because I feel like Rivera's getting a lot of credit for being head kicked by Chikadze 20 times.
Yeah,
like, I feel like this matchup was just on TNC and we hadn't seen Rivera Chikadze, which honestly wasn't really a very strong performance. It was just Rivera getting teed off on.
Yeah, he didn't really do anything.
And like Rivera's got grappling holes he showed originally. Qaisi is at least an enthusiastic grappler. He's not necessarily a good one, but he's an enthusiastic one. Qaisi plus 170 and the sub at plus 1000 both kind of tempt me a bit. Again, I'm not going to act like I've got a massive insight here, but competition's about the same level. I trust Qaisi's durability a bit more. And I just feel like Rivera's getting better on name recognition. I think it just sometimes people get credit for getting the shit beaten out of them when it's like, is that really something to hang out on?
Yeah, it's almost like that. Who's the guy who Peter Yan like beat the fuck out of? And then he was like minus 190 versus someone who's actually pretty good.
Yeah, I remember that. Jinsu Sun versus it wasn't what's his name?
Against someone who was like good, Batista, right?
Yeah, Batista, that was it.
Like Batista's kind of in that Gutierrez space. Like I feel like he's like a solid, like lower level bantamweight. Like he's solid.
Yeah, it just feels like people get this weird credit for just taking beatings. It's just like, what did Rivera show? It's like Rivera was reasonably aggressive and landed a few shots, but like Chikadze was just kind of fucking him up whenever he felt like it.
Yeah.
Like, credits for hanging around, I guess, but like it would be funny. I feel like his chin is going to now he's on his second UFC fight. His chin is going to revert to what it was.
First minute.
And Qaisi's just going to like lightly jab and he's going to explode. Like blood everywhere. Like we're talking like I don't know. It's just this weird constant of the UFC universe that happens.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll take a look at this fight at some point. It's like one of the few fights I haven't really looked into. But Zalal and Barrett. Zalal's the rightful favorite. I still think. Like I was looking into the fight and. Like he should win. Zalal should win, but Barrett will like clinch you up, and whatnot. And Zalal did lose 2 LFA fights within the last year and a half by being clinched up. And it's like one of those things where I feel like Zalal would absolutely he's so much better at range, just kind of with his footwork, his his leg kicks, and he's just faster. But he like kind of will weirdly he'll kind of like play into his opponent's games where he'll like clinch up and initiate some of the clinching. And he was doing those in his LFA fight. So like, I think that's Barrett's path to victory is he's going to have to like get a lot of clinch time, but still I think Zalal will win. I don't know if you looked into this.
Yeah, just about my opinion. Like I like Zalal ever since I played him against Lingo, but he's kind of an idiot in certain ways. Like, even against like Griffin, he made that fight a lot harder than it needed to be.
Yeah.
Like, if he like round 2 and 3, I remember it's like he had this massive striking advantage and he kept grappling with Griffin and giving like Griffin a path to victory.
Yeah, that's thing. Like he did it in LFA too. Like he lost 2 fights in LFA, so it's not like he's this like young prospect who isn't going to lose to this type of competition, you know. Um, but like
Yeah,
I mean, he should win, but it's just at minus 450. Whenever he gets drawn into these dumb clinch fests, whenever he's minus 700 at range, it's just weird.
I think he's just like a low mid level sort of guy. Like I've seen some people try to act like he's a huge prospect. I made quite a bit on him against Lingo, but a lot of that was just because Lingo was minus 250 for no reason.
Yeah,
That was more just like I'm aware this is a coin flip. I think Zalal's actually got more upside here. Or at least no, Zalal had proven more. Lingo had like no actual proof because it was all like really quick KOs.
yeah.
But like now Zalal's minus 500 against people, which is like I just don't think Zalal was that good or that trustworthy.
He's kind of
Like
you know who he reminds me of? Like not even skill set, just kind of the hype and early in on his UFC career. Kind of Roosevelt Roberts. Where like I don't think either of them are bad. I just feel like they're probably a little overrated.
yeah, like honestly, best outcome here would be Zalal getting a nice first round finish or something nice and flashy, and then he's randomly like a big favorite against Gutierrez or something.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, is he featherweight or bantamweight?
That's gonna happen.
Like, that's the best outcome here as far as I'm concerned. No, it's featherweight. I don't know. Who can he be? Who can he be a decent favorite against?
Is he featherweight?
Yeah,
No.
Grundy.
Grundy would actually
Grundy would be a close fight.
okay. I mean, he'll land takedowns in that fight.
Traffic. Who would be a middleweight? Who would be a featherweight? This guy would
to randomly pull the 180, and Grundy will become my ally because I feel like he'll get disrespected in some type of matchup because he's kind of a specialist. Like I do think he can beat some guys just because he has like a random skill set, you know. But
trying to think which featherweight would he randomly be favourite against? He shouldn't be. Rick Glenn or something maybe. Narimani. Yeah, actually Narimani could beat this guy. I could see this guy, but I could see Zalal getting like a triangle choke here or something when he does a really stupid guard pull 2 minutes in, and then he's randomly minus 200 against Narimani. I think that's probably a good trajectory.
yeah, I don't like Narimani that much. I would need someone else.
I'm just looking for featherweight. Like who's all right? Moffat. Moffat's still in the UFC. Barzola maybe.
Dude, someone like Barzola or something.
Yeah, Barzola would be perfect.
Barzola would be perfect.
Or even like if Zalal was like minus 400 against Julian Erosa because people dislike Erosa for some reason.
Yeah.
Actually, I could say that.
Barzola's tough. Like he would land takedowns, striking would be reasonably competitive. Yeah, it'd probably be a split decision, but I feel like Zalal would probably be favored in that, right?
If he gets point, yeah. If he's nice enough to get like a big flying knee or something here.
Yeah. It has to be like a spin kick or something in round one.
Yeah. It's like Tuesday Night Contender. Like halftime, I'm just rooting for the bad person to win by meme shit.
But if Zalal puts up like a very impressive 15-minute performance, he'll be like the underdog, you know, in this next fight. But if he gets that first round KO, he'll be minus 700 versus I don't know, Arnold Allen. Okay, I think
Amir Cardi. That's what Amir Cardi does.
Amir Khadi's hilarious because it's like he can absolutely butcher people with his skill set, but he also can like maybe lose to anyone until he decides to actually start wrestling. You know, Amir Khan is just hilarious. I feel.
Yep. All right. So I just hope Zalal wins by something which makes him fightable.
Yeah, maybe Jared Gordon. Maybe Jared Gordon will be like a good one.
Oh yeah, quite possibly.
Like, Gordon will probably could maybe out. I don't know. I have to think more. We're just talking shit. Gavin Tucker, Justin Jaynes. Pass.
I was vaguely tempted by Jaynes at like plus 150 or something early in the week, wasn't he?
Yeah,
he was. Yeah, they're both kind of whatever's. Like Jaynes Camacho was just Jaynes deciding to throw haymakers, which as a short notice dog makes sense. Like I'm not against the game plan.
Yeah,
but also I don't think it really indicates. I don't think it really tells you anything about what level he's at. I don't particularly rate Gavin Tucker. A lot of people don't. It's just this fight will just have weird shit happening. Again, just root for something flashy happening. So one of them will be a favorite against somebody else.
Yeah, I'm hoping Tucker wins because I feel like, I don't know, I just feel like after rewatching that Rick Glenn fight, if you can just put a pace on this dude, you're really gonna fuck him up. But yeah, I was taping and I just felt like some of the grappling positions that I wanted to see Jaynes in, I didn't get tape of some of those situations. Like Tucker likes to clinch you up against the cage. I didn't really see Jaynes defending there. So I just feel like I didn't get enough sample to kind of know how this will go. But I don't know. Pass.
Yeah, hoping like somebody does something impressive which gets them priced up by the market. That's my hope.
Yeah. Next fight, I know we were just talking about this. You can give your opinions first. Sanchez and Turman.
Sanchez is always kind of hard to trust against somebody who'll put like an actual pace on him. Should be the better grappler here. Like Turman struggling with Roberson was a bit questionable. Price might be better. I'd probably see it closer to evens just on gut feel. They haven't really done deep tape on this. I'm sure you have opinions.
I'm still kind of deciding, but I just started taping it this evening, and I think Sanchez is going to win. Like, I mean, you have to think in terms of percentages, though. Like, but I need to keep looking into it a little bit. But I kind of just Turman's way of winning fights is to grapple you, and I don't think he can out grapple Sanchez. Sanchez has never been taken down in the UFC, and he's a legitimately like he's a two-time NAIA national champion. I just don't see how Turman's going to consistently get takedowns. And then when I was watching Turman against Robertson, he gave up 7 minutes of top time, or like he was on his back for 7 minutes against Carl Robertson, and Robertson didn't even attempt a takedown. It was just Turman forcing grappling and kind of just ending up on his back, and then he plays guard and Robertson just sat in half guards. I don't see why Sanchez can't do that, you know? And I just feel like Sanchez will. We've only. No one's really attempted a takedown on Turman. There's only been one attempted takedown on him by Perez, and it wasn't even. It was just like a caught kick, and he kind of went for a takedown, but not really. But I just don't trust him to be able. Just some of his grappling tendencies of ending up on his back. I don't trust him to be able to stop takedowns by Sanchez, and I trust Sanchez to stop Turman's. And then on the feet, it's like Turman actually doesn't really land that many distance strikes. I do think the pace is kind of his path to victory, but I don't think Sanchez is going to gas out that much in this type of fight if he gets takedowns because he usually gets tired when he's forced to consistently take you down and mat return you, where Turman actually lays on his back. And that's a lot like you grapple when you can just lay in someone's guard, it's not nearly as energy exerting. And you can watch some of Sanchez's fights when he's just able to cruise in guard, like on the Ultimate Fighter, and he doesn't get tired. And I do think Sanchez's cardio at least looks a little better in his last couple, but I just think stylistically it's weird because even though Turman pushes a pace, I feel like there's a route for Sanchez to not have a pace pushed on him by just laying in top. And I don't know. I like Turman likes to clinch up. I've been watching him in all his fights where I've seen him in the clinch, and I don't like he knows exactly what he's supposed to do. He goes to the left or right, he fights underhooks, and I think he'll just turn Turman around and be able to get out of that. And yeah, I'm kind of just ranting, but I'm just kind of throwing all my thoughts out there. I just don't understand the line. Like I think I'd favor Sanchez, and I know I'm kind of on an island because almost everyone I've talked to thinks Turman's going to win, and they think the line's right. But I disagree. I think Sanchez is going to win, but I do want to kind of tape some of the situations a little more. But it's just if you give up 7 minutes of top time to Carl Robertson, like Sanchez is a really good wrestler. Like I really think he'll be able to get takedowns in top time.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I just when I sort of looked at it on passing without me doing any tape, my gut feeling was just Turman wins a very close split decision. On
Yeah, like
being bit more forward moving. But again, like I do agree with you. Like I did some quick take when you sort of pointed out, and I do agree. Watching the Robertson fight, there is a concern with Sanchez will try and improve position if he's on bottom, whilst Turman won't. And like Turman's BJJ is okay, but he's got a very attacking style, and he's not really very positionally coherent. Exactly. I guess.
Yep.
He'll just kind of fall like he's very submission before position, and just like you can see how he gets subs originally, but you can also see he's not really he's never gonna put like a dominant control performance on.
Yeah, and Sanchez isn't just a wrestler. Like he actually has like he's been in the Pan Ams. Like he's actually like won tournaments in different different belts and everything, but he's like an actual seasoned grappler. Like he's not just a wrestler. And you know what fight like it kind of reminded me of when I was researching, because I agree with you. When I first saw the fight and the line, I didn't think anything of it. I was like, okay, whatever. Like I didn't think anything of it. And another fight that happened with me on, I didn't think anything of it, was Fishgold Gordon. And then when I looked into the grappling, I was just like, I feel like the line's off and Gordon should be a bigger favorite. And then when I watched this and really researched it, I was just like, I feel like I favor Sanchez. I don't know. And even on the feet, like, I think Sanchez, he generally like competes pretty well at distance as far as like the numbers go and everything. And yeah, I don't know. I don't even know exactly where Turman is better at, other than kind of his come forward nature. And that's enough for me to kind of want to play the dog here. So, but
yeah,
I'll look into it a little more. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna take a small punt on it, but probably nothing huge. But yeah, I can follow your logic after like I haven't probably done as much intense tape study as you, but I can definitely see where you're coming from.
Yeah,
honestly,
I watch a lot of tape this evening. It was kind of a thing where I just expected to watch a few fights and kind of be like, eh. And then I was just when I watched that Robertson fight, that was really the fight, and I just saw a lot of similar shit. And even when he was clinching up against Perez against the cage, he was doing a lot of shit that's going to get him taken down by Sanchez. Like he would put his leg up in the air and like he would try to take he would try to take Perez's back and get his leg caught in the air. Like if you do that to Sanchez is going to fucking like crack down and then switch to a double and throw you down or inside trip you. It's just, I don't know. And his willingness to grapple, I just trust Sanchez to be the one getting the top position, because even if Sanchez doesn't force takedowns, even though he generally attempts a lot, Turman attempts a shitload too. So I just feel like there's going to be a lot of grappling, and I just think Sanchez is going to win the positional battle. But having said all this, Turman's going to knock him out in the first 30 seconds.
Of course. Also, I was kind of looking at Sanchez sub. Like Sanchez hasn't really subbed anybody in MMA, but just based on how Turman's like mindset towards grappling, like Turman's sub is plus 640 and Sanchez sub is like plus 1400. And I feel like if you were to actually like often like if you offered me like a straight up which sub is more likely, I think it'd be worse sort of evens. I don't know. Honestly, it depends on what Turman does. Like I just Turman's grappling mindset seems he's very submission poor position. I could see him definitely getting caught with spots. Again, I don't really have touch already at this point. I do follow your logic though.
His grappling mindset got him beat to Robertson, and Robertson's not a better grappler than Andrew Sanchez. He's just not.
How many submission wins does Carl Robertson have in the UFC?
I know he has more submission wins, but
that is the only important metric.
Yeah, it's just if he had a grappling competition with Andrew Sanchez of Pan Ams, I'm just telling you, Robertson's not winning that. But yeah, I don't know. And
yeah, fair.
I've been ranting about this too. I'm also really tired right now, so I kind of sound like an idiot probably on this podcast. But it's just my initial thoughts, and I don't know. I just feel like stylistically, it's kind of like a fight Sanchez should just win and get top position, but we'll see what happens. And I just feel like he has answers for what Turman does, like the way Turman wins fights is something Sanchez can stop, like he's 100% takedown defense for a reason. But anyway, Nasrat and Munoz, what do you think here?
Munoz is kind of interesting from a wrestling point of view. Strength schedule's pretty weak. Experience pretty low. Vaguely tempted by Munoz. I think I got some Munoz plus 220 because I know some people who are pulling the trigger. Personally, kind of whatever about it. Yeah, like I don't really. Nasrat got held down by Marcin Held. Like Marcin Held's a very good grappler, but Munoz seems like a pretty good wrestler when he actually wrestles. But will he be consistent with the takedowns, and where's Nasrat at? I guess.
Yeah, I don't trust Nasrat at the price just because of that Held fight. It was just like a couple takedowns, and he was on his back for way too long. But I mean, I don't like that Munoz attempted. I think in his last fight was against Troy Lamson. I watched it. I don't think he either attempted 1 or 0 takedowns, and that's not good. But against Nick Newell, he attempted like 6. So I think it just depends on how many takedowns he attempts, which is hard to know, right?
Like Munoz's fight IQ to beat a handicap person was impressive, but I don't know. Again, like I think it's probably worth some value here, but also just looking, I actually haven't really put any real thought into this. The under's a little bit curious, a little bit interesting. Just I feel like if it gets caught in the feet, Nasrat does swing fucking hard. And Munoz seems a bit mediocre striking defense wise.
Yeah,
like I feel like a Nasrat KO, a Nasrat win's got a good chance of being KO.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, just off gut feeling how Nasrat's game tends to work. And Nasrat's not that dominant minute winner either because it's quite low volume on the feet, and also like him being held down is very possible. I didn't see Nasrat drop around Thibaut Gouti.
Nasrat's pretty high volume on the feet. He can be held down though.
I remember he lost that round to Thibaut Gouti. He had a sort of really slow.
He had one round against Silva where he was low volume, but he's generally pretty high volume. But he has had some rounds, I agree, but generally he puts up pretty decent volume. But he had one really weird round against Joaquim Silva where he just did nothing for the whole first 4 minutes. So
yeah, I think I can remember that one where it was like 10-10 after round 1.
Yeah, agreed.
I think that's what topic to mind when I think about it, I'm guessing.
Yeah, if you watch his other fights, I think that was a little bit of an outlier, but I mean that just goes to show random striking tempo can occur. I don't know. Yeah, I don't have that strong opinions. Not playing the fight. I tend to think Munoz might be worth a stab. It just depends how much he tries to wrestle. Staropoli and Means, what do you think here?
Means very good, but concerning kind of condition lately. Staropoli, high volume, tough, durable. I think price is about right, honestly. If I could trust it was peak Means, I would be all for it. But I just don't think you can still trust his durability. And yeah, I do think Staropoli eventually wins just a medium high tempo striking match on durability. Which kind of my gut feel.
Yeah, I tend to think the values on Means personally. I just don't think. I don't know. What has Staropoli really done other than? I mean, Aldana is awful, and then he kind of looked like shit against Salikov, and against Alves, he won a reasonably close fight on the strike count. I know, the optics looked more in his favor and everything, but it's not like he ran away with that fight. And I don't know. I feel like I don't know. I feel like I don't know. Means has only been knocked out twice. I think people may be overreacting a little bit. Nico Price hits really hard, and Daniel Rodriguez just kind of swings, and I think Rodriguez is a little underrated.
No,
I don't
actually,
know.
now that I think about it a bit more, just like think about Staropoli. Him against Thiago Alves was weird because Alves didn't throw any strikes for 2 rounds.
That's what I'm saying. Yes,
Yeah,
for 2
and
rounds.
then when Alves actually felt like doing shit, he was actually like winning exchanges.
And Salikov barely does shit, and he dominated. like he like 30-26'd him. I don't know. Like I just feel like Means is fucking good. Like Daniel Rodriguez is super high volume. Means is going to do shit. Like I kind of feel like if Means doesn't get finished, he's gonna win. But I haven't completely researched all the tape and everything, but that was my mind going in. I was looking at the numbers and I kind of was feeling the same way. And I just feel like Staropoli, he beat Aldana, and then he had Alves not do anything. Like Alves got the shit kicked in. He got his shit kicked in by Means like recently, like this year, I think.
Yeah,
Or
yeah,
yeah, like I don't know. Like I just think Means is a better striker. He has grappling upside more. Like he can like sometimes catch kicks. He can land like a takedown per fight.
I just have this weird feeling. Would you say like this Bay is a Brown sign of rerun? Actually, I'm surprised the under 2.5 is only -105. Like Staropoli seems durable, but like Means always come for the finish.
Yeah.
I just have this weird feeling we'll just see this like a stupid Bays of Brown sort of thing where Means is winning minutes and kind of putting together the best stuff, and Staropoli just kind of wins
But
because he can take 4 knockdowns and Means can only take 2.
does Staropoli even hit that hard? That's what I'm saying. Like I just and I don't know. Is this just like a thing? Maybe it's just me. But is Means really that shot? And does Staropoli really hit that hard, or are people just really over exaggerating that? Like Means has been knocked out twice, and it was like Nico Price, fine. Like I don't. Nico hits really fucking hard, and then his other one was against Daniel Rodriguez. Like hits reasonably hard, and it was just kind of like one random shot in round one. It just happened. I just don't think Staropoli hits that hard. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know. Like I could be wrong. Like I just think Means is like way more proven, has like legitimately good wins, and yeah, I don't
yeah,
know. Like I just don't think. I think he could easily be like -200. But
yeah. Again, like a lot of it will just come down to what Means level of shotness is.
yeah,
Like I mean that's really the question. That's really like peak Means I think would be like comfortable -200, 300 here, but like it's just how much punishment can he take?
yeah.
Like you could see this thing where he just like looks done, or he could. It's just hard playing these sorts of fights. Like gun to my head, I'd rather play Means at plus money than Staropoli at favorite money. But like I just have this gut feeling where you get this stupid Pacer Brown sort of thing where it just ends up being the older fighter can't take as many knockdowns as the younger fighter.
Yeah, it could be. It could be. Like I'm not even saying I'm playing it. I'm kind of just thinking out loud. Like I haven't really fully taped it. It's just I just I just think like base level shit. Like Staropoli hasn't really done that much. Like he looked like shit against Salikov. Like the more I watched that. Um, but who knows?
Remember
Uh,
when it's a complete idiot steamed Aldana from +250 to minus evens against Staropoli.
what? Yeah. Well, Staropoli, I remember looked really bad in his regional tape, and then he kind of looked like decent against Aldana.
Yeah, that was a good. That was that was an interesting line move. I think we were both
Yeah.
involved in that, weren't we?
Um, I don't.
Were you
I think I arbed on that fight.
were you around for that?
It was so long, and then I don't think I was around for that. Like I don't think I was talking to you at that time.
Oh, this is like one of the first like things on Twitter where I was posting about Staropoli footage, and like I swear, me and a few other guys in the Discord essentially made that live movement happen, and then we felt kind of bad because Staropoli just ran leveled up.
Yeah, he leveled up and just dominated. Yeah.
And they were like, Aldana was better on tape.
Yeah,
I
like
don't know.
random
Here's what it is.
improvement can happen, but I
On to the
haven't
next.
looked at Buckley yet. Holland should probably win, right?
It's Holland, though. Do you want to play Holland minus 500?
Yeah, like
Against
I'm not
anybody?
saying to play him. I'm just saying he should be favored, right?
Yeah. I'll just see what the price is like. If Holland subs a decent price, I might hit that. Otherwise, pass. I think Holland is randomly getting a lot of respect as a KO artist due to the his last win.
Yeah.
Well, I think he's more of a sub guy. Just like I just don't. I think he took advantage of what's his name having just a glass body, and what's his name Hernandez having glass body, and like randomly the pricing is just shifted. So like if I can get like Holland sub at like plus 500 maybe, otherwise pass.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't have much to say about that one. Holtzman and Dariush. I know you have some opinions on this fight.
Pretty passionate in the under. I got on the plus 120ish. Now that's kind of come down a fair bit. I think Dariush should just level of fragile. We can no longer trust him at minus 200 almost.
Yeah.
He just reacts badly to shots. He's never been an A plus athlete, but now he looks like a C minus athlete. Like something I found out earlier today. Dariush is only 31. I always thought he was like 50.
Yeah, there's like random fighters like that who I feel like I thought they were like 45, and then I find out they're like low 30s. Another one with like Peter Sabata is like 32.
Oh, here he is, isn't he?
What's up?
He is, isn't he? Remember we had this conversation last week. It's
Yeah,
like he's been around
yeah.
since 2004. He looks like a middle-aged man.
Like
Trevor Smith is actually 20 years old. What do you know?
Sabata's 33. Like that's not very old. I mean, he's like
How old's Rory McDonald? Is he 30 yet?
He's 31 or 30.
Yeah, 31. Yeah, fuck. Rory McDonald and Dariush are the same age, pretty much.
It's really funny whenever you find a fighter like that who you feel like they've been around since, Chuck Liddell was fighting. And then you see guys in the Contender Series who are like 32,
Well, like heavyweight. There's going to be heavyweights who haven't debuted yet who are like 45 right now.
Yeah.
They haven't even started fighting.
We're going to see Curtis Blades fighting until like Josh Barnett. How old is he? And he is still probably a top 15 heavyweight, like around there, I would say. Like he can compete.
Yeah, he's 42. How many times will we get Spivak versus Blades? I need a market on this.
Blades is going to be around for a long time.
Spivak is also going to be around for a long time.
Yeah.
Like, I honestly think I would not shock me if like 15 years from now we're like having Spivak Blades free for the title. Nothing has changed. It's just Spivak Blades free for the title.
Yeah, Blades. Yeah, I mean Spivak probably will be too. I mean, fuck, but Blades for sure. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, what fight are we talking about? Okay, Dariush is younger than we realized, but sorry, I'm like sleep deprived. Go on. What else do you have to say about this fight?
Holtzman KO plus 610 is mispriced. I think Dariush is reacting very badly to shots at this point. Like even Close almost had him. And when Close is almost having you on the feet, that's a concern. Holtzman is an angry man who'll come at you very hard. Yeah. I don't think Dariush can necessarily still deal with that in the minus 200 rate, but I think the margin for error is quite tight. If Dariush can't get the sub, which you don't think he can from memory, but I'm kind of ambivalent. If Dariush can't dominate grappling-wise, I just don't see how this line is justified because it'll probably come down to a shootout, and I think Holtzman can take 3 knockdowns and Dariush can only take 1. Yeah, I just think there's a good chance I just meet in the middle and swing to death. And I'm favouring Holtzman that all day.
Yeah, I haven't taped yet. I hear you. I do think Dariush will probably win the first few minutes, pretty clear. But like even like Miller Holtzman, it's kind of concerning. But Holtzman will definitely be in his face late, Like I favor Holtzman to win round 3, definitely. Wouldn't you?
Yeah, like favor him for win round 3. I just don't trust Dariush's durability anymore. Like I like Dariush. I'm surprised Dariush unders have stayed like around evens. Like I just feel like he's had like what 4 or 5 of his last 6 have all been like haven't gone to round 3.
Yeah.
Like he's offensively dangerous himself, and he's quite fragile. So it's just like he just produces unders either way. I
Yeah.
also just don't like how slow a starter Dariush is when I feel Holtzman has a very good chance of coming at him. Like,
Yeah, I just like I want to. I need to tape a little bit like of this fight, but just I know both these. It's kind of a shame because I really like both these guys. So it's gonna be sad seeing one of them lose. But I don't think Dariush can finish Holtzman. Like I think he can. I just think it's kind of low percentage. I've always been a big advocate of Holtzman's just sub defense, and he's really good at sub defense on back takes. Like I literally played not Miller inside the distance against Holtzman because I had a lot of respect for Holtzman's sub defense. And I don't know, like Dariush KOing him would be like you can hit Holtzman, but Holtzman has a good chin. Like he's durable. He responds well. Um, but that's the interesting thing. I really I don't think Dariush finishes him at a high clip. Like I know you have different opinions, obviously, because you're playing the under. And then it's funny because Holtzman's decision line is actually plus 254, and Dariush's is plus 295. You know, and I tend to think Dariush's inside the distance is being overrated here. Dariush to win inside the distance is plus 125, and I just don't see it. I don't think he'll have the cardio to do it late. And if I don't know, like I think Holtzman's going to be a really tough guy to sub too. He's really good at defending back takes. I don't know. Do you have any thoughts on that?
I think there's a decent chance it ends up just being close Dariush again. Where just like it just comes down to some random swing match. They both just decide to go to the death,
Could, yeah.
which means Dariush could always just win that exchange, and that's
It
live.
could
But
happen.
like,
I agree. Yeah.
but also I think that I just think that the way they fight, they're eventually going to get to a point where they get swing to death, and I favour Holtzman to swing to death
Yeah.
pretty
Yeah.
easily, just because his chin's still he's got more chin and he's just a better athlete. Like Holtzman's kind of freakish athlete. Dariush is not a good athlete at this point. Like if Dariush was like a B plus athlete, he'd be a top 5 lightweight in my book. He's
Yeah.
fucking incredibly skilled.
He's a really skilled fighter. For sure. Imagine if he had like I don't know, Usman athleticism.
Yeah, but I even like honestly in the UFC, like I think if he just like took everybody's skills out their body, I think Dariush probably top 20, just pure skill. He just is a shit athlete.
Yeah.
But yeah, oh well, some people are. And I just think there's a good chance this ends up being a cock measuring contest, which Holtzman wins on chin and athleticism. But yeah, my hope is just essentially that I'm essentially playing not. I'm playing a bit of Holtzman KO, and a bit of under. That's just my spread.
Yeah. Like I like the Holtzman KO line. I like the Holtzman line too. I still only problem I have with the under, like it could be it theoretically could be a swinging match. I still think Holtzman's going to be tough to finish. I more so think Holtzman has the. I honestly think Holtzman has a higher chance to finish. Like I put his KO over. I know that's controversial because the scorecard is no actions minus 405, but I just trust his durability way more.
Holy shit, that's a big number for NSA. Holy, yeah, that's fucked. Like
It's completely false. I just don't like Dariush inside the distance plus 125 is crazy to me. Like, has Holtzman ever been finished? I don't even think he has.
Maybe originally. I mean, what's his name dropped him? He's been dropped a few times.
Yeah, people wonder.
Miller heard him. What's that Korean dude's name? The guy who he beat recently.
Yeah,
The Korean guy.
Holtzman's never been finished. Donghyun Ma. Yeah, but like if you watch those drops, they weren't like ever even close to being actual finishes, you know?
His soul left his body. We both saw it.
I just think plus 125 to win inside the distance when you're at a cardio disadvantage, most likely against Holtzman, is nuts. And Holtzman has really good sub defense. I don't know. Like What would it have to be? Like a club and sub? Like I think that would be. It can happen. Like the finishes can happen. This is MMA. What is that? What's plus 125? Isn't that like 44% or
Around there, yeah. Yeah, I do agree with you on the not Dariush shot today. Again, I just feel like every time I fight Dariush, he randomly just does the Camacho thing.
But I mean, just think about it. If they fought 100 times, do you think Dariush gets 44 finishes?
Probably not. Yeah,
Yeah,
I do agree with you. I
think
just
this
have
is
this
fucking
weird feeling
insane.
it just ends up being a random coin flip on dick measuring contest.
Even if it became a random coin flip on a dick measuring contest, I still don't think Dariush gets 44 finishes. But like, yeah,
Yeah,
we can talk. Yeah, that's just my opinion. That just seems that's a very very nuts ITD. But
yeah.
Kunitskaya and Stoliarenko. I did a little
No.
tape here. We don't have to say much. I think Yana will probably win. Um, this girl probably needs like a armbar guard sub type of thing, or like maybe winning some like dumb women's MMA striking decision. That's pretty much it.
JTD is minus 160, but we do know the armbar is like 80% here, so let's walk away from that one. I've learned my lesson.
Yeah, Pitolo. Like I don't. I think Yana should probably win that fight, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's just like she'll probably clinch up and do that a little bit. Um, probably get ahead with the kicks and shit from range. Can probably land some takedowns, but I don't know. She's it's not like Yana's incredible or anything. The other girl, yeah, like that's kind of what I had written down. Like Stoliarenko will need like a guard sub. She never gets top position. That's her issue. But if she gets top position, I could see her getting some passes because I've seen it like happen once, but she just doesn't get it. So if she doesn't get a guard sub, I feel like the way she has to win is a striking fight. And if she's in a striking fight, she'll probably get clinched up. So Yana should probably win. But Stewart and Pitolo, um, line's probably right.
Yeah, probably another swing for there. Stewart's a bit better, a bit more powerful, a bit more durable.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Pretty much.
Pitolo's just not very good. I mean, neither of them are very good, but like I respect Stewart's athleticism.
Yeah.
Interesting props here. Not really under 2.5. No. Like I don't even like the under 2.5 here because I like Stewart. Stewart isn't necessarily the most aggressive for the finish.
Yeah.
But yeah, he should just win. He should just have more power and more chin in the swinging match.
Yeah. Agreed. Weidman and Akhmedov. I know you have strong opinions here.
I don't really have strong opinions. Like I hit Weidman minus 105 for about a unit and taken a bunch of Weidman sub in time since. I just don't think Weidman is as fucked as people think he is. He's definitely like he's not like a fucking iron jawed guy, but like if you watch his kind of knockout losses, none of them are soft. Like nobody, he's not getting rattled by jabs. And I just feel like if we get like peak Weidman or something, like peak Weidman be like minus 300, minus 400 here because he just kind of beats Akhmedov everywhere. He's a lot bigger, he's a better grappler, he's a better striker, busier, so forth. And if it's really just a moratorium on how shot Weidman is. Yeah, like I just think Weidman's aside, but like it could also be a situation where Weidman just looks crap and Akhmedov looks dominant because he's just hunting on what condition he's in.
Yeah, pretty much. Agreed.
Like, yeah, peak Weidman's a very good fighter. He has his defensive lapses and all that, but like I just think if I knew this was Chris this is a Weidman who was 90% of what he was historically, I just think he just runs through Akhmedov pretty easily. Like, but if I just can't feel. I feel like I had to take him at minus 45 because I was like, yeah, that's clear value there. But you're just playing a kind of coin flip on how good Weidman and how fit Weidman is at the moment.
Yeah, it's kind of like a guessing game of his overall ability right now. The main thing, just like from like a technical point of view, that I noticed is well, one, Weidman's landed a takedown in every fight of his UFC career, which is kind of nuts. Like even in the fights he's lost, he's landed a takedown in every fight. Like against Yoel Romero, even Reyes.
I think for Jacare. Yeah.
Yep, one time.
Couldn't remember that.
It was like really quick. Yeah, he got one takedown there. So he's literally landed a takedown in every fight of his career. So I mean, obviously, unless if he gets knocked out in the first 30 seconds, I don't see how he doesn't land takedowns here. But kind of like the thing I saw, like, I mean, there's obviously questions with just his durability right now. Your guess is as good as mine on whether or not he's shot. I have no idea. But the thing is, like, when Weidman is kind of doing his thing, he's really good at wrestling rides, and Akhmedov gives up his back. Like, if you can watch it against Ian Heinisch and other fighters, and I think it's just a question of, can Akhmedov fight off wrestling rides? If he can't, he's probably going to lose. If he can, he'll probably win. That's the way I see it. And like most likely, usually people can't fight those off, you know?
I think the grappling disparity, like Weidman when he's actually playing top position, is incredible in terms of like his grappling build. He's like probably top, he's top upper echelon for the sport. Yeah, Akhmedov did get subbed by Gunnar Nelson.
Yeah. Nelson did all his work from mount though, which is a little different than what Weidman does. Like Weidman kind of rides your back, and
he did against. Did he mount? He mounted KO'd Belfort, didn't he?
Yeah,
it's been a while.
Yeah, true. But Belfort's a little, I don't know, a little different. But no, I hear you.
Mentally weak. Yeah.
Yeah. No, he just kind of like gives up. Like I don't know.
Still, I just feel like there's a case here where you could just see a situation where Weidman could just take him down and just go through him like a knife through butter.
For sure. Agreed.
Like, I just don't think Akhmedov's particularly good off his back, and like I think Weidman, when he's actually getting top position, is pretty fucking good.
Yeah, I mean, he showed it versus Gastelum too.
Yeah, because like Gastelum, he went for a bunch of positions. Like he's just generally a very good grappler. Like his A game is probably the right wrestling rides, but like even positional jiu-jitsu is fucking good.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and against Gastelum, he really went on those wrestling rides. I don't know if like people listening, he was doing like things called spiral rides and like he actually knows how to mat return too. Like he doesn't just shoot off to another double leg. Like he actually knows how to mat return, and he would just kind of like trip out a leg. Like he has a lot of ways to kind of ride you out, and he dominated Gastelum on the mat.
Yeah. I mean, so did Hermanson, so it's not the first time.
Yeah, Hermanson was like a leg lock though. This was like actual dominance.
Complete domination.
I mean, it's not that I still think if Hermanson got top position, he could do work on Gastelum, but it's like that's not what happened in the actual fight. We're like Weidman seriously took down Gastelum multiple times.
Yeah, and ragdolled him. I remember it was very dominant. Like I don't think Akhmedov is that good off his back, and honestly, he has enough back exposure. He could honestly end up in a very similar spot to Gastelum.
Yeah, it's still one of those fights where I like I hear you. Like I think it's about like I'm not playing this because I think it's too much of a bet on where Weidman's at, and I don't know how I could know that. You know, and I'm kind of in the middle. Like I see a lot of people defending Weidman's chin, and they're kind of talking about how they've been nukes and things like that. Because it's like Mousasi, like Rockhold was just kind of from back mount, you know, like and just that was different.
It was 150 ground
wasn't really a knockout. It was kind of just like, first of all, he was gassing because he had to keep like taking him down 40 times, and then it was kind of like a knee, and I think he kind of reacted that way because it was illegal. You know, like it didn't seem like
he thought it was illegal.
Yeah, it didn't, but it ended up being legal. But he thought it was illegal. But it didn't look like it actually. It didn't look like he had a bad chin from it. You know, Romero, that was insane. And then Jacare was kind of like late in the fight, and then I don't know. Reyes hits hard, is what it is. I kind of see it.
Jacare, that was a massive hit.
Yeah, I kind of see it as though he only has 51% striking defense, so like he does have defensive issues, so he is hittable, and I don't like that because like even though I do agree with people that his chin may be being overblown a little bit, I still don't think he has a good chin either. You know?
Yeah.
Because like even Gastelum dropped him in that fight, like at the end of round one. So he's actually been like hurt or knocked out in 6 of his last 6 fights. But I do agree it's been like against really, really good competition too.
And like, is Akhmedov that big a hitter? Like, I'm just nothing in Akhmedov really tells me if he's like comparable to even Gastelum. Also, just randomly rewatching Jacare vs. Weidman. It's amazing how many parallels there are with that and the Trinaldo Herbert stoppage. It's like the exact same shot. It's the exact same situation where Jacare's like, let him live. I don't know. It's weird how it happens again.
Was that Herb Dean on the stoppage?
Was it?
I remember Jacare was like because he
I
didn't
think it's
want to fight.
Mazzigotti. Yeah, Mazzigotti.
Okay.
Actually, no, Mazzigotti. Fuck, I can't remember. I should know the names of the rest, but I don't. The bald one. Yeah, so I just think it's bald white, sort of broad body, not mustache. It doesn't matter. Yeah, I just think Weidman has the upside here. Like, it's possible Weidman just looks really fragile and goes down to a knockout, but Akhmedov isn't like a career knockout artist either.
Yeah.
Like, everybody who's knocked out Weidman has multiple UFC knockouts.
Yeah, no, I hear you. Like I do see arguments for both sides though, but but I mean, it's always like a tough one on this because like if Weidman, it's not like that Gastelum fight was all that long ago, and if that Weidman shows up, he probably crushes, but who knows?
Also, I just kind of think the consistency of Weidman just mauling him and grappling is a lot more consistent than like Akhmedov just knocking him out.
Yeah, that's fair. That's a good point. Yeah.
And grappling doesn't really go.
Agreed. For sure.
That's always my view. Like, no matter how old you are, you tend to like look at Werdum last week or the week before.
Yeah.
You can retain grappling skills whilst you want to retain striking skills. And like I could just see Weidman just taking Akhmedov down and just sunning him.
And I didn't think of it like conceptually that way, but that is one good argument for Weidman because I'm very confident his grappling will still be there.
Like even against Reyes, he still went for the takedown immediately. Like he had a clear game plan. Like it didn't work for him. Yeah.
Yeah. Like he got it. It was just like a quick sequence,
Yeah, looked reasonable. So on to the elites main event of the evening, Oleinik versus Lewis.
Oleinik, the value side, he has 3 paths to victory. I could see him winning by submission, knockout, or decision. I know some are higher percentage than others, but I'm serious when I say that. Having said all that, Lewis is going to knock him out. Pretty much.
Yeah, it's going to be annoying, isn't it?
It's like, that's pretty much what I think. Like, I think Oleinik's the value side, and he has a ton of paths to victory, and Lewis pretty much has to knock him out. I guess he could maybe win a decision, but if it goes to the cards, I wouldn't want to be on Lewis minus 200. Oleinik has more paths to victory, but I just think Lewis is gonna knock him out. I don't know. This fight is fucking stupid, but it's awesome. Like it's gonna be very entertaining.
I got Oleinik at plus 220. I played some KO1, some KO. I honestly the Overeem. I actually like the way Oleinik approached Overeem, where he just pushed him up against the cage and punched him in the body. That is a viable win condition here.
The Oleinik swings, dude, and he'll be busier in spots too. Like he can
throw a body uppercut. And Lewis is very vulnerable to the body.
Oleinik, he can land takedowns too, for sure. Like he lands a decent amount generally, and Lewis is very takedownable, but this is still a shit show, and I can't imagine at some point Lewis not hurting him, I don't know. Like it's a
My
mess.
view here is that Oleinik will at least kind of have the initiative here. So chances are like Oleinik will be the first one to hurt Lewis.
Yeah.
Which gives him A, the win condition of Lewis not coming back from that. B, I actually do like Oleinik's body work. He actually does go to the body, which is very good against Lewis. C, Lewis is a meme who should never be minus 200 against anybody.
No, Don't you feel me though? Like I totally agree with you, and like if I were to bet this fight, I would play Oleinik. But don't you kind of just think Lewis is just gonna explode out of the situation and just knock him out at some point?
Yeah, he'll be like Oleinik will pull a mounted bottom Ezekiel, and Lewis will almost go out and just push off the cage and then just round 5 haymakers and done.
Yep, pretty much.
Remember what's his name? Oleinik versus Albany. There'll be something fucking stupid like that.
Well, I mean, Oleinik won that fight though.
Yeah, but just the whole vibe of the fight will be something stupid like that.
Someone's gonna be winning, and then the other person's gonna win. That's what's gonna happen here.
Yeah, agreed. It's just gonna be stupid. Like
tremendous insight by us.
It's a coin flip. You should play the usually you play the plus 175 coin flip. Like, I think that's a fair way to win, but like Lewis annoys me, and like I'm going to continue pouring money down, but Lewis loses me money pit because I enjoy it. Like I still don't understand how he's won his last 2 decisions. Lewis is just a very frustrating individual for me.
Yeah, it's tough.
I would like to propose Lewis versus Aspen Lad because I think that'd be an interesting matchup.
Lad will get the takedowns and be up, and then she'll get reversed and knocked out.
Nah, she just start screaming. The judges will be like, "Fuck you! Just stop the fight."
I feel like this would be a fun fight for props. Oleinik Lewis. What the fuck are the props on this one?
Oleinik KO is the only one I particularly like.
Lewis
the over under is kind of
walk.
The over-under is just weird. It's so much of a tempo thing. It depends what pace Oleinik sets, in my opinion.
Yeah,
I just feel like a lot of this fight just comes down to what Oleinik does. Like if Oleinik immediately bum rushes him, I think it's over within like 2 minutes. If Oleinik decides to play like,
it's gonna go like an hour. Yeah.
I like honestly, like if you can live bet GTD and Oleinik hasn't bum rushed him in 90 seconds, just put everything on it.
Yeah. It'll totally play out, and it'll be like a split decision where Oleinik lands like 7 takedowns and outlands them 90-30, but like Lewis, his like explosions look cool. So Lewis gets a split decision, and then we're gonna have a podcast on Tuesday, and you're gonna be fucking yelling at everybody about how you got.
Yeah, but that sounds about right.
All Lewis bettors, they're bums, and I'm just gonna be chilling, wanting to talk about the next Cormier Miocic fight, which that's
next week. Oh, fuck! I didn't know it was next week.
Yeah, a pay-per-view is coming up. We should do that podcast early, but Jesus, I'm like, dude, I'm sleep deprived.
Yeah, I can tell. It's all good, man. It's all good.
I know we could. I know we were going to talk about Bellator, but I'm like, fucked. I don't even know what we're talking about anymore. But Lewis by submission plus 2,500, 10 units.
Yeah, sure. Why not? I'll book you on that.
All right, I'll upload this. I don't even know what we're fucking talking about. And okay, we'll do another one on like next Monday or something. We'll get that one out early since it's a pay-per-view.
Yep, all good. Thanks for listening. Enjoy the sleeping rantings of me and Tim. Have a good one.
See you, man. Bye.
That's it.